So have you checked your calendar for June 1st, 2026 yet? If you're anywhere in the Indian solar sector, this isn't just a random date on the wall. It is a massive, industry-shifting deadline. A deadline that could either completely stall your current pipeline or propel your business forward, depending entirely on how well you prepare today. Welcome to this explainer. Consider this your ultimate guide to the upcoming MNRE policy shift. We're going to break down exactly what you need to know using the facts directly from the latest updates. Today, we're decoding the ALMM List-II Solar Compliance Roadmap. If you're a solar EPC, a project developer, a rooftop installer, or even a commercial and industrial buyer, well, this breakdown is tailor-made for you. We're going to demystify the MNRE's new mandate, cut right through the regulatory jargon, and give you a crystal-clear picture of what your supply chain must look like moving forward.
Okay, let's dive into this. We've got a quick roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the new ALMM rule, then who's actually affected, the major exemptions you need to know about, and finally, a concrete action plan for EPCs.
All right, starting right off with the new AMMR rule.
You know, government circulars can feel pretty dense, but the new formula for the Indian solar market starting June 1, 2026 is actually very straightforward. Up until now, everyone's focus has mostly been on the modules themselves, but going forward, it's a strict two-part equation. You need ALMM-listed solar modules, which is List I, plus the actual solar cells inside those modules absolutely must come from ALMM List-II approved manufacturers. Only when you have both of those elements do you hit that 100% compliance mark. So the crucial point is, you can't just slap unapproved cells into a compliant module anymore. It's all about securing those deeper layers of your supply chain.
So, what does this actually mean for you? Officially, ALMM compliance post-June 2026 is the mandatory requirement to use domestically compliant or DCR-linked solar modules for most covered projects. Practically speaking, though, this is a strict gatekeeper. If your modules don't meet both the List I and List II criteria, they simply might not be eligible for installation in these covered projects anymore. The days of bypassing cell-level compliance are literally coming to an end.
Which brings us to our next big question. Who will actually be affected by this?
Well, if you're wondering if your current or future projects fall under this new umbrella, here's the rundown. We're looking at net metering rooftop solar projects, open access RE projects, government-linked solar projects, and utility-scale projects that already fall under ALM applicability. If your EPC firm handles any of these portfolios, you definitely need to treat this with a healthy sense of urgency. There's no need to panic, of course, but there is an absolute need to adapt your vendor qualifications starting right now. Now, I want to zero in on rooftop EPCs for a second, especially those of you working on commercial, industrial, and large institutional systems. Notice the specific wording here. Projects commissioned on or after June 1, 2026. That is a massive distinction. This deadline applies to when the project is actually commissioned, not just when you bought the materials. Think about it. If project delays push your commissioning date to, say, June 2nd, 2026, and you're sitting there with non-compliant cells, you are going to face some major regulatory headaches. And this brilliantly illustrates the hard line the MNRE is drawing in the sand. On one side, using compliant modules with List I and List I cells guarantees smooth sailing and business continuity for C&I rooftops, open access, and net metering. But on the other side, non-compliant modules are going to mean stalled projects, blocked capital, and zero chance of installation in covered projects. It's completely black and white.
Okay, let's ease the tension slightly and talk about some important major exemptions.
Before we get into the specifics, just take a good look at that year, 2026. I know it sounds like it's a long way off, right? But in the world of large-scale solar procurement, long-term PPAs, and complex supply chains, 2026 is basically tomorrow. Large-scale procurement bridging this gap needs strategic planning today. So let's see what needs compliance and what actually gets a free pass.
Let's do a quick audit of your current pipeline. First up, any project successfully commissioned before June 1, 2026 is completely exempted from this new List-II cell compliance. Second, and hey, this is fantastic news for developers. If you submitted a bid for an old tender before this order was issued, you are exempted, even if your actual commissioning rolls over past the 2026 deadline. Third, projects that already have exemptions through specific, previous MNRE office memorandums, those exemptions still stand. And finally, thin-film modules manufactured in integrated facilities are deemed inherently compliant. So definitely check your portfolios against this list.
All right, let's move to our final section, the action plan for EPCs. Let's see how this builds into a concrete operational roadmap for you. Step 1. Get on the phone with your module manufacturers literally today. Confirm their cell sources and verify their future compliance status. Don't just assume anything, get it in writing. Step 2, educate your customers. If you're pitching a large C&I rooftop today that's going to take time to build, your customer needs to understand exactly why you're selecting specific compliant modules. And step 3, plan your procurement strategy well in advance. Do not wait until early 2026 to scramble and figure out your supply chain.
And I need to deliver a somewhat stern but absolutely crucial warning based on these updates. You must avoid procuring any uncertain or non-traceable inventory immediately. If you buy cheap, non-traceable modules right now, hoping to just use them up over the next couple of years, you are carrying massive financial risk. Think about it. If a project gets delayed past June 2026, that inventory instantly becomes dead stock that you legally cannot install in a covered project. It is simply not worth the gamble.
Now, navigating policy shifts like this can be super complex, and obviously, every EPC's pipeline is unique. If you need some deeper consultation, clarification, or specific guidance on how this MNRE policy is going to affect your exact business, you can reach out to Drexen Solar Solutions. Their website, email, and phone number are listed right here. They specialize in helping businesses navigate exactly this kind of tricky regulatory landscape.
So, what does this all mean? It brings us to one final, critical question. Is your supply chain truly ready for 2026? This ALMM List-II mandate isn't just some bureaucratic hurdle. It's a real test of how robust and transparent your vendor relationships are. I highly challenge you to evaluate your procurement strategy today. Don't get caught off guard by unexpected commissioning delays. Optimize your strategies, lock in your compliant vendors, and turn this policy shift into a massive competitive advantage for your business. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I will see you next time.